And we are
Hello.
live.
Hey, how you doing? How you doing? Welcome, 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 one and all. Good evening, good night, good morning. Whenever you're watching this, shout out to all of you that are watching us live. Shout out to you, to all those who are going to be watching this rebroadcast. It's your boy Rich. I got the Queen Tamiko with me on tonight. We're doing a show at Real Talk with Rich, and normally I would have my buddy here, Paul, but Paul is. I don't know. He's doing something for the committee of bass or whatever it is. He, he's working very hard behind the scenes, trying to get trying to save T'Challa. What he's doing, what Paul does. So shout out to him and shout out to the whole Black Comic Lords and Black Superheroes Forever crew. Tamiko, let me ask you, how you doing, sweetie?
All is well today.
All right, that's what I want to hear. All is well today. So. We don't want to delay the time. I want to just welcome each of you that's watching us on tonight. And tonight we're going to talk a little comics. We're going to talk about, I'm going to have my grumpy hat on tonight. You know what I'm saying? We'll talk about the multiverse and all that stuff today. But first, before we get to that, we're going to start with our first segment, which is, comics of the week. And so, Tamika, what you got? Show me something that you got. Let's talk about it.
Since folks was having a little thing about us only doing Marvel and DC and not showing love to the indies, I decided to go into my indie pile. So the main things that I've been getting deep into is Martha Washington Goes to War. Now, thanks to Midtown Comics, I was able to get all 5. And this was basically on your recommendation. You spoke about Martha Washington a couple of shows ago. So I said, let me see. Because this never crossed my radar. I'm going to have to get my late pass. I'm going to accept it. Because this is really difficult. Written by Frank Miller.
Yes.
Cover art, Dave Gibbons. So this is pretty decent. Ooh. Come on back. Come on back. All righty.
Man, it's okay. All right. Sorry about that. We having technical difficulties tonight, y'all. But we're going to keep going.
Yes, we are. And the second
Martha Washington, yeah.
Oh, go ahead. Hmm? Go ahead. I'm sorry. Martha Washington.
No, I was just going to say Martha Washington, written by Frank Miller. Frank Miller is one of the most incredible, talented writers in comics. And he wrote Martha Washington. And I am still to this day, and he said it himself, that he was still surprised that character did not take off like it probably should have. It's an amazing comic, and it's 3 or 4 volumes of books. So I think you can get about like 15, 16 issues. So yeah, it's a good read.
Yes, it is.
What else you got?
All right, and I got Oriental Heroes, Jamin Comics. This is a nostalgia buy. I had these comics a long time ago.
Okay.
And with this one, I have 1 left to complete my run. So I was really heavily into all the Asian comics and things like that. And they're actually pretty good. So I've been on a hunt for quite a while. So those are the 2 I've been marinating on this week.
Okay. Cool beans. So the couple books I got, I just, Paul talked about these books on Friday night. I'm going to talk about them just real brief. Of course, the first one is going to be Black Panther number 10, I believe this is. Yes, Black Panther number 10 has the first cover appearance of the Buffalo Soldier. And the issue itself, I'm not going to kill it like Paul did. It did have some interesting points in it, but I do think that wherever John really is going, he needs to get there sooner than later.
Yeah, trying to give this man some grace, because
yeah, we kind of going. We really, you know what? Him and Paul talked about him and Mark talked about something the other night, and they were talking about how as collectors they have to collect this book, even though they don't like it. They got to collect it because of the continuity that's involved. And I couldn't help but think to myself, I said, well, you know what, you're kind of in that same boat. We're in that same boat where, comic heads, whether they're like Batman or whether they're like Superman or characters like that, they may not care for the writing at all, or they may not care for the art at all, but they have to buy it because if they're going to keep their continuity, if they're going to keep their collections current and up to date, they got to buy it. So, it is what it is. But I think Ridley's going somewhere. I just think that, man, everybody agrees that this run is not that good. But we've seen worse. And, he's writing. He's writing I Am Batman, which is incredible, which makes this kind of so hard. That because that's an incredible run. And it's like, okay, well, how are you able to do this with that? But you're having so much trouble with this over here. So again, I don't know what him and I don't know what's going on with that, but hey, do what you do. I do want to show this other cover. This is the Killmonger cover. I think this is a dope cover, you know what I'm saying? So that's one of the variants that was available. And then Paul put a post in the chat today. Peace, brother. How you doing? Azale Ray. I don't want to, peace, brother. He put a link in the group, in the Facebook group, saying that the Wakanda book is going to second print. So, you might want to go to Things of Another World. There's a link in that you can go to and order that, because we know how second prints are. They tend to be low print runs, and they tend to grow in value. So just check it out. This next book is has Black Panther in it, and that's All Out Avengers issue number 2. This book here is I love this book because it's got Dr.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, we're going to have to cast out these demons who are trying to mess up our broadcast tonight. So while we wait for Rich to get it together. All right. And Azale Ray, he said that he used to see the Martha Washington comic all the time at Midtown, but didn't know what it was about. It's really cool. This would be considered woke before woke became a thing. So that's all I'm going to tell you. I'm not going to spoil it for you. So you will see for yourself. And we say, hey to Gordon, how you doing? All right. Now, you was talking about All Out Avengers.
Yeah, All Out Avengers, issue number 2. Has Dr. Doom in it. It's got Black Panther in it, of course. And it's a pretty dope story. It's a fun comic. That's one of the reasons why I love it. If you just enjoy superhero comics or whatever, don't sleep on this here. Because I know the Avengers run, people are having issues with it or whatever, but, this here, right now, pretty cool. So I recommended that you check it out, pick it up or whatever. And, of course, our boy is in it. So T'Challa's having a tough time with it as of late. There is a book that I also got, which was Avengers 1 million BC. And, I kind of thought about, a horror movie when I read it, Tamiko, because the black guy gets killed.
Yeah.
He gets killed first. He's the one that T'Challa is literally, or not T'Challa, but Mosey, who's the original Black Panther. He's out of there like after phase 3. So I'm like, come on, guys. It's just tough it's kind of hard to be a Black Panther fan right now, but it's okay, because come November the 11th, all will be made well. All will be made well. We're gonna be all right. That's what's up. So yeah, that concludes our segment of Books of the Week, guys. We're gonna transition to our next subject matter, and that is low-hanging fruit. Low-hanging fruit, for those of you that may or may not know, is a segment of the show where we just talk about news, we talk about whatever's going on, we talk about nerd stuff, whatever. So I'll get my nerd on today. So Tamika's gonna help me out with this. So first thing I want to talk about is, well, first let me ask you, Tamiko, did you watch or have you watched the Lord of the Rings series on Amazon, Rings of Power? Have you watched it?
I watched the first episode and then I lost it from there. It's like it didn't hook me. It didn't kind of pull me in.
Yes,
So I only
yes,
watched
yes,
the first
yes.
episode.
Yeah, it literally took about 6 episodes for it to get good.
Oh,
And
okay.
eventually it did, but it's one of those things where I'm like, man, Amazon I think paid $250 million for the rights to do this series. And it was just not compared it to the, House of Dragon,
Mm,
is no comparison. House of Dragon is by far a superior show and
yes.
things of that nature. But I will say that it did get kind of good. But the series finale, or the season finale, was a real big wonk wonk wonk. And I'm not going to trash the show. I think the show has merit, and I think it, like I said, it got good right around episode number 6 or whatever, but it kind of limped its way to the finish line. So they're already filming season 2. So
Mm,
hopefully it'll get better, and they'll learn from some of their mistakes that they made. Because I think that they at some point admit that there was some mistakes being made. I'm not going to cry like some fanboys with it,
mm,
um, saying certain things about staying strictly to the lore, because I do know that has its place, but at the same time, it's kind of like, come on, guys, you know what I'm saying? It's okay to introduce certain things, but make sure your story is, you know, uh, make sure your story is intact and it's not disjointed, because in a lot of it was disjointed. I think that was one of the biggest problems even with the first episode. I'll be honest with you, Tamika. I
mm,
had I watched like 20 minutes of, then I went to sleep,
mm,
and I had to watch it again. It's because it does
mhm.
not hook you. It just does not hook you. But yeah, as I always say, Lord of the Rings is father of D&D. How do you mess that up? Hey,
Mm.
everything, anything is possible. That's all I can say. They
Mm.
definitely proved that, but it's okay, So,
Mm.
if you got nothing better to watch on TV, and you hadn't watched it, go check it out. You know what I'm saying? But don't
It's
kill
just
me. Don't kill me because you didn't like it. That's all
it's
I'll
just
say.
slow burn.
Yes, it's a very very slow burn. I mean, it's a tortoise. It's a tortoise burn, but yeah, it's okay. So anyway, I am watching Rings of Dragon 2, and I am definitely enjoying that. I mean, it is. Oof. What's the guy's name? The brother of the king.
Damon.
That dude. Yes, that dude. Man,
He's the
he's
goat.
like
Yes, he is.
he's like a train wreck that you just can't look away from. He's gonna do something that is just not gonna be good. And I have enjoyed his performance. He's definitely the quote unquote villain in the show, but he's a good villain. I really enjoy his
Yeah,
story arc, and I
yeah.
definitely enjoy the Valerians or whatever. I'm kind
Mhm.
of disappointed that the king sea snake or whatever, he even kind of went off the scene. So I don't know
Oh,
what's going to
he'll
happen
be
with
back
that.
because see, he's not. Yep, he'll be back
I
because
hope
he's not
not,
dead yet.
because
Now he's
yeah,
not
they
dead.
kind of like put him out. He went to war. He went on a ship and then came
Hmm.
back. So
Well,
we'll
no,
see.
the thing about it, in the last thing, he
Hmm?
was on his way home when all of the shenanigans in the episode popped off. So he hadn't even gotten
Right.
home good. And that's all I'm going to tell y'all because you need to watch this show because this show is real
Yeah.
good. Real good. So, hey to
Yes. Yes.
Imani
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
and hey to the 1 in 100
What's
podcast.
going on, Imani? What's up, Amir? 1 in 100 podcast. Appreciate y'all joining us. So, um, do you watch Atlanta, Tamiko?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Okay, that's a good show. Atlanta is very surreal, dope show. You should
Mm,
watch it if you hadn't watched it. Those of y'all. Shout out to Donna Glover or
mm.
Lando Calrissian, so I like to call
Yeah,
him. So,
I was introduced to
um,
him as Childish Gambino.
last part of low hanging fruit. Yeah, yeah, he's been around a while. I mean, people don't know
Mhm.
that Donald Glover's been doing this for a minute. He was actually in what is that superhero movie? Mystery Men. You remember that?
Ooh, nope. And here we go again. Come on, people. Let's let the internets work. Let's let the internets work for us here. All right. The first season of Atlanta was my favorite. Okay. All right. So yeah, very, very, very good show. And I mean, and it's fun. It seems like people seem to think that shows involving black people are supposed to be struggle and horror and all types of nonsense when it could just be fun. Just like comic book reading is supposed to be fun. So I don't understand all the people with the sturm on drag. And then, of course, including into that point of fun is also She Hulk. I mean, everybody has their issues about She Hulk, but again, it's supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry about that. Listen, I had to switch, go off of my phone, come on to my tablet. So hopefully, you know, the StreamYard be more kind to my tablet.
We
So
hope so.
you were talking about She-Hulk. Let me talk about She-Hulk for a minute. So first of all, shout out to Marvel for having a sense of humor.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Marvel for trolling all the melanated challenged people,
Hmm.
fanboys in the world that just do not like anything that is not straight and white and male.
Mm.
They had a they made an episode at all of y'all expense. That's just how petty Kevin Feige is. That you know what he says, they're killing the show, they're killing this. What we gonna do, Kevin? Kevin's like, you know what? We just gonna put it all out there. I
Yeah.
loved it. I, I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I think it's one of the best shows that they have done. You know, it's right there for me. I
Mhm.
mean, Falcon and Winter Soldier, and then She Hulk is like right there because they
Mhm.
that was a very. I like the idea that they wanted us to have fun. They wanted us to have some fun. I mean, we get serious with these books and these shows and things of that nature. And we missed the whole point of it. And so, yeah, I shout out
Yeah,
to them.
because this was pretty much lifted directly from the comics, and
Mhm.
anybody who's read comics wouldn't even be surprised by what it is. But all these people, she stole Hulk's powers, and she's a slut, and I was like,
Yeah,
what? Oh, it was too
yeah,
much for me. But I thoroughly
yeah,
enjoyed how Jen took control because it is her show,
yeah.
even with
And you know,
their
and that's I think that was the funniest part. Was like, I want to talk to Kevin. He's like, who?
yeah.
Like nobody talks to Kevin. He does today. So yeah, man. Shout out to them. You know, listen, guys, if you want to watch a funny show, don't take yourself serious. Just have some fun. You know, eat you some popcorn. You know, pour your little libation, whatever it is, and just sit back and just chill and just watch it and take it for what it is. Don't you know? And like Tamiko said, you know, a lot of the stuff that they took directly from the comics. So it's not like, you know what I'm saying, the stuff that they put in the show was just out of the realm of impossibility. Oh, how dare you do this? How dare you do that? It's like, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
It's just it's unnecessary. It's unnecessary. So our last part for low hanging fruit comes. What is this? Honestly, I'm waiting for Black Adam. Yeah, well, give you got another week. Got another week. Black Adam will
One
be in
more
the
week.
building. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, got another week. So, um, I want to talk about Blade. Okay, now we know that Blade has been put on hold,
Mhm.
and in the news, in the news, it has come out that Mahershala Ali is a part of the writing process in terms of the story. So he's intimately involved in the
Okay.
script writing. And I think the reason why they had to kind of like go to him and involve him in this because they were probably getting ready to lose him. because I think he got tired of the, start, stop, restart, stop. Okay, now we got a director. Great, let's go. The director's like, I'm out. It just became frustrating. And that's the thing about when you sign up for Marvel projects. I think one of the things that they stipulate is you really can't do much else while you're under contract and while you're doing other things. So imagine just kind of sitting around waiting for your project to be, to take off and do things. And then when you get the project, get this 90-page script, and it has 2 mediocre action scenes in it, and it's not, something that the fans are going to want, because fair or unfair, they're going to compare this to the old Blade movies. The first 2 Blade movies were incredible, and I was reading something, and somebody was wondering about In Boucher Wright, that they wished that she could come back into this, because she was great, what I'm saying, and but I mean that whole trilogy, except for the last one was a joke. But shout out to Ryan Reynolds, he gave it the funny, he gave it the funny. Which is probably how he got his Deadpool role. So, but he's involved in the writing process, and so that's good to know that anybody got a clock? Clock.
Anybody got a telephone?
Clock. Oh, I called you, my G.
You did not call me.
Yes, I did. I did. I called you.
My phone is right here. You did not call me.
You know what? You need to tell a delegation at the code of bias. You got things. You have obligations. Look, the recast.
First of all, how did you know that there was even a meeting tonight of the delegation?
Yeah. Because you weren't here. I mean, why else you wouldn't be here? You either playing with your daughter, or you on the phone behind the scenes trying to get them to recast T'Challa. I think you need to. Here's the thing, Paul. I just think you need to go the She-Hulk route. You just need to get in the car, and drive to Marvel Studios, and just let them know, let them know that you and the acolytes are just not happy with the direction Marvel is going in. Now I don't know how far that's going to get you. But you can try.
NDA.
I am not at liberty to discuss the plans that the Cult of Bast has for this issue.
Yeah, that point. Right now, like I said, first we want to shout our boy out. Glad you could make it, my brother. We were just talking about Blade, and
how long have you been on here?
We've been on 24 minutes.
Oh, geez, I'm sorry. So that's Blade, okay. What's going on with Blade?
No, Marshall Ali. I can't get that guy's name right. Mr. Ali. Mahershala. There you go. Thank you. He's a part of the writing of the script. He's helped rewriting the script for Blade. And I think that the reason why he's a part of that is because he was probably getting ready to walk. So.
Well, a couple things. He's under contract, so he can't really walk. On the other hand, he's an Oscar. Since the time he probably entered into the contract, he's probably won a couple Oscars. So, at this point, his rep's on the line. Like I'm an Oscar award-winning actor. That means I get no less than $20 million a film or whatever. I can't be making a Bobo film that you guys are throwing away haphazardly at the last minute with some fly-by-night director. So let me get involved in this. That's probably what's going on.
Well, either way, I'm glad that he's a part of the writing process.
As a complete tangent, one tangent. Let me just get this out the way. New books coming out this week is one called Crypt of Shadows. Cult of Shadows, Crypt of Shadows. Marvel's coming out with Crypt of Shadows. It's the first cover appearance of Blade's daughter, Brielle Brooks, aka Bloodline. So you guys might want to make sure you add that to your pull list this week. Crypt of Shadows #1. Cover A is her first cover appearance.
Oh. Yeah.
Okay.
Speaking of that, good transition.
Don't say I never told you.
Good transition, Paul, or I should say, good segue. Because I want to talk real brief about. I'm gonna get my grumpy man stuff on. I want to talk real.
I'm not even on your lawn.
I just want to talk real brief. The Blade one shot or the Blade series is limited series is coming out. Vampire Nation. Okay. I'm kind of struggling with this concept. Now, for those of you that don't know, there was a Blade one shot that came out when they were doing a series of books on the Darkhold, right?
Yeah.
And it was in one particular book where we meet Blade in his position, his current position as the sheriff of the Vampire Nation. Dude is working with Dracula. I saw that and I was like, okay, Blade. Okay. All right. I see y'all, Marv. I see you working, Marv. So now they're going to do a whole series about Blade and the Vampire Nation. Now, you know your boy is a little off, Tamiko. I make no apologies that, I've seen a therapist in my past. I make no apologies that I am a reformed, militant, angry, African Zulu Mandingo warrior, blank talking dude.
Okay. You better not pull out a spear from behind that camera.
I ain't got a spear. I got a couple swords though. Point is,
Black Lightning.
Okay. What? Yes, of course. Shout out to my man Black Lightning. Here's the thing though. Why is Blade an overseer, Paul, for Master Dracula?
Well, that storyline actually started in Avengers, in which, in order to sort of solve the vampire problem or equation of them running rampant around the world, why not simply give them their own country? I say country. Think of it as a reservation. The vampires have been put on the reservation of Chernobyl, but sometimes they want to wild out, amongst themselves or out in the world. And Dracula wants to regulate them within a certain degree of parameters for two reasons. One, amongst themselves to maintain his own control and power. And two, he doesn't want to invoke the ear of the humans and have them all come after vampires. Because, they had a Cult of X storyline in which that didn't go over too well. Not Cult of X. Vampire X, Mutant X. I forget. It was something with the X-Men.
Curse of the
Mutants. And then also that did cross into the X-Men.
Curse of the Mutants. Something like that. So, bring in Blade. The enemy of my enemy is my ally, sort of thing. And from Blade's perspective, look, if my goal is to keep vampires from killing a bunch of innocent people, here's a way I can do it from the inside. You get greater access to them. In the same regard, I get to keep my friends closer, my enemies closer type of mentality. So he gets immediate access to the worst of the vampires. I would think that would be the logic behind
it. I get that, Paul. I really do. But Blade kills vampires.
It's not simplistic enough for you.
Not this time.
Look, all I want to see is Eric Brooks, a sword and a Uzi full of silver bullets, and let every bloodsucker have it. That's who Blade is. Blade has been bought. Blade is Kanye West, y'all.
Wow.
Okay.
Next thing you know, you're going to see, watch, first page of the book, Vampires' Lives Matter. That's what you're going to see. You're going to see.
Can we hold that point? Let's hold that point and do this. Okay. All right. Carry on.
Look, all I'm saying is is that Blade, aka Eric Brooks, wakes up to kill vampires. He doesn't care about a wife. He doesn't have a house with a picket fence. He doesn't have no cares in the world. He don't care about black unity. He don't care about white unity. All he wants to do is point him to the vampires so I can do my dirt. That's all Blade wants to do. But now y'all done defanged Blade. Y'all done took the sword out of his hand and made him a sheriff. Who is this? Is this Bass Reeves? I'm just saying, Paul. I mean, come on now. Sheriff Blade. And they got the nerve.
That's actually a very good analogy. That's a good analogy.
And they had the nerve.
Reeves of vampires.
Yes. And they had the nerve to put the Bama on a horse. That's the cover.
I believe that's cover C.
I'm just like, you know what? I have this love-hate relationship with Marvel. She-Hulk, I'm clapping. Way to go, She-Hulk. Way to go, Marvel. And then you give me Bass Reeves meets Blade. I'm sorry, guys. I'm
all right. Get it out. Let's just get it on out there. Can't hold that in.
I just need Blade. I just need him to just cut the head off some vampires, strike fear in the heart of Dracula, and I'm good. I don't need him working with the enemy. No, he did that in Blade #2. We don't need to see that again. We crossed that bridge.
If you want some hack / Blade, you could probably get a little bit of it in Midnight Suns, which comes out this week. Midnight Suns issue 2.
Yes. Please. That's the kind of Blade I like. I like the Blade. I like the antisocial Blade. The Blade don't talk to nobody. He just point me to the vampire. There you go, Blade.
Malcontent.
Yes. Somebody said, Zur says, you haven't even read the comic book yet. I don't need to read it. I just look at the optics of it. Sheriff Blade? Is that what we doing? Are we going to act like Blade, a.k.a. Eric Brooks, a.k.a. wake up for breakfast and kill vampires, a.k.a. my mans in them, is working with the head vampire in charge? And I don't care if they're over in Russia, in Chernobyl or whatever, where nothing else lives. Vampires go vampire, baby. They're going to go out and eat. They're supposed to wild out. They're hungry. I'm just saying. I'm not killing the comic book. I'm just saying. Listen, I'm an old head. We're going to get into some canon type stuff later. It says you're forgetting Blade is hoping they step out of line so he can cut their head off. Exactly. I get that, bro. I get that, but still, no, I just need Blade to show up like he did in the movie. Remember, he showed up in Blade #1. He showed up at that rave or whatever. They had the big old bloodbath, and all you saw was the black boots. Boom. And then all of a sudden, everybody.
One of Hollywood's greatest cinematic moments.
Daywalker. Oh, next thing you know, he just pull out the Uzi and just start. That's what I need. I don't need for him to sit across the negotiate with Vlad the Impaler. No. That's just me. That's just me being an old head. So go and get the books. We always say, Black Comic Lords, buy the books, read the
buy the comics. What's the line, Tamiko?
Buy the comics, read the comics.
Yes, that's it. That's it. But anyway, we're going to transition. We're going to go to a commercial, and we'll be right back. If you like that drama that I was talking about, I know some of y'all looking at me like he just compared Blade to Kanye West. Only here, Black Comic Lords.
I'm so
can we go to commercial? I'm so disrespectful.
Yes.
So disrespectful.
When you go to an art museum and you see pictures on the wall, what do you think? I can tell you that a picture cannot audibly speak anything. Yet you will be challenged to find something, however, that doesn't speak louder. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. And that is how I justify buying black books at times solely for their covers. Sure, I would love for the story inside to be amazing. I would love for the writing to capture my attention and hold my thoughts for ransom. Yet I have experienced a world of story in an image. I am drawn in by drawings and pulled in by paintings, not having an inkling of the message communicated by the ink. For my mind has made up its own mind, and it has told me it does not care what the artist creates. For I, a created being, see me in the work. I see my babies, I see my ladies, I see my brothers, I see my fathers, I see my people, I see my equals, I see everything and anything and something completely different from you and you too. We see the same shapes and colors, but not the same images. Beauty is truly in the eye of the beholder, for I beheld a canvas that canvassed my heart and mind, giving me peace, giving me sadness, and giving me anger, giving me love, and giving me hope. So when I see comic books with a face like me, I see a story where half the story has yet to be told, because truly, it can't. After all, a picture is worth 1,000 words. Don't forget, go to blackcomiclords.net. Get you some merch. That beautiful shirt that Paul has on, you can get that. That sticker that Tamiko just showed you, you can get that. You can get that on a shirt. You can get that on a mask. You can get that on a backpack. You can get that on a mug. You can get that on you can get that on anything. We got it for you. We got some heat for you. Go to our website, blackcomiclords.net. And check us out. Yo,
I had your voice. You got radio voice.
We try. This is KRICH. Broadcasting live from the planet Vampirism Lab. Eric Brooks, aka Blaze, is negotiating with Vlad the Impaler for the lives, because vampire lives matter.
Are they really lives though? They're kind of undead.
Yeah. Undead lives matter.
Undead lives matter.
Even
that's gotta be on a T-shirt in one of the issues. I need to see a vampire wear that shirt. Undead lives matter.
Yeah. Have you guys ever seen the movie Warm Bodies?
No.
It's about some zombies. Some zombies fall in love. It's about this one kid. He's a zombie, and then he meets this other zombie, and this is like a little. It's kind of like a puppy love story, but it's hilarious. But yeah, zombie lives matter. So y'all go out and get that Sheriff Blade though. Y'all let me know how that go for y'all.
Do you want to talk about the upcoming books for this upcoming week?
No, because we're finna get into down the rabbit hole. But you know what? I take it back, Paul. Let's before we get to down the rabbit hole, let's talk about those books. So what you got? What you got, bro? What you want to tell the people that they can go to their comic book shop and get?
Well, thank you for asking.
Yes.
Here's our Black Comic Lords list for books coming out this week. I'm just
Okay.
going to go through it quickly because I know you got some other things you got to do. First up, we've got Aquaman Andromeda #3.
Yes.
Add this list because there's a Black Manta's in this. Black Manta's one of my favorite villains.
Yes.
And he's in this book. It's a painted book. It's beautiful. It's one of their Black Label books, which just gives it that prestige format.
It's a pretty good read.
Huh?
Pretty good read.
Yeah. Next up is Avengers 61. I'll just point out something I always point out to everybody when we do these things, which is, can you see that?
It's a dinosaur.
Okay.
But
are they in a Savage Land?
I don't think so. So this is what I'm pointing out. Black Panther, right here. You've got Nighthawk right here, and you've got the new Reno Jones Phoenix character right here, and you've got Miles Morales right here. So this violates that rule of 3 on Black characters on the cover of a comic. So this makes this officially, based on the Dwayne McDuffie rule, a Black book. Moreover, what I find super interesting, let's zoom in on Black Panther here. Look at what he's got on. He has stakes on his belt, and he has 2 swords, like a character that seems very familiar. And he's wearing a trench coat, a flowing trench coat. Who do we know wears a trench coat, carries stakes, and has 2 swords?
Eric Brooks.
T'Challa, the Vampire Slayer.
Okay. Interesting.
So I thought that was an interesting thing. Next up, Black Adam, #5. I love this book. I love the Black Adam book written by Christopher Priest. Introducing this new character, Malik Adam, who is Black Adam's descendant and the new Black Adam character. There are 2 covers. Here's the other cover. This cover is done by Joshua Swaby.
Okay. Sway
Next up, Captain America, Symbol of Truth #6. There are 3 additional covers to this one. This one has the Landshark character. If you read West Coast Avengers, you're familiar with this character. Marvel has this thing where they're putting this character in a bunch. I don't know if they're going to put it in MCU or something, but they're putting this weird little pet character on a bunch of covers this month.
Yeah, because he's on a web series.
Yeah. On the next cover, this one's kind of interesting because you have Sam Wilson and the new Falcon. So this is now officially Captain America and Falcon. You've got White Wolf in the background there, who's one of the villains as well, along with some new characters that we have never seen thus far yet. These characters here. So it looks like we're going to have the introduction of some new characters, and that's their first cover appearance. So for you comic spec people, that will be there. And here is the first time I've ever seen a cover of Redwing. A character that's been in the Marvel Universe for a long time.
Decades.
And now he's getting his own cover. The first time, I believe, Red Wings had his own cover.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Defenders Beyond, #4. I'm digging this series. Mostly because a lot of it, that first issue really focused on Blue Marvel. And it gives him an opportunity to delve a little bit more into his character. Duo, I think this is the final issue of Milestone's Duo comic, which is it's a new take of the zombie character from back in the day at Marvel. I Am Batman #14. This is cool because your first time getting sort of in costume, I guess, so to speak, of Jace Fox's little sister Tiffany as the new sidekick character, partner character. We don't know what her name is going to be yet. We're not going to assume.
It's messed up too. Didn't you? Well, we were talking. We did a show not too long ago. We were talking about what would be a good name for her?
Yeah.
Y'all remember that?
If it was going to be Robin, they would have said that already. I don't think they're going to go with Robin.
No. It's not. I don't think it's going to be Robin. But what I was getting at was, they gave the name. I think it was Sparrow. They gave the name Sparrow. I think that was one of the names that we talked about. They gave that to another character.
Sparrow would have been.
They gave that to another. Yeah, but they gave that to another Bat family character. So yeah.
There's a couple other covers. Here's another one here by Howard Porter. That's the cardstock variant. That's Tamiko's favorite. Tamiko always likes to cover bees on the cardstock.
Girl.
She's a cover bee girl.
Yep.
This is by Kanan White. This cover here. Kanan White. It's just one of the best cover artists out there.
Mm-hmm.
It's really
he's
dope
doing
cover.
his thing.
He's doing his thing. Check out the detail on that.
And that's, one of those buy for the cover type deals.
Now, we were just talking about Midnight Suns, right?
Yep.
Noom, Wolverine, fine. I don't care about this. There's no black people on this one. I could care less.
And look,
right?
You can't say that, man. I think Doom is gonna be black. I think they're gonna change. They're gonna race swap Doom.
He's Latverian black. All right, so this one is done by Phil Noto, who's one of my favorite. Phil Noto. Assad Ribic is one of my favorite cover artists. Just artists, because he does interiors too. That blades in the background there, so that's kind of cool. But let me.
You know what? Hold on. Before you move, Paul, we got to say this: the Blade versus Wolverine one shot that came out about a year ago. You should, if you are a Blade collector, you should get that. You should get that because that was an amazing one shot. And Blade and Wolverine, they cut for one another, but they will fight one another. So there's an iconic Blade cover.
This is the cover I wanted to show you. This is the Nantees game variant for Midnight Suns #2. This cover, this is the type of quality cover that they're selling this at cover price. This is the type of cover they usually make an exclusive, like an exclusive ratio variant. That's this level of quality.
They probably will. They'll probably just take that stuff off and make it a virgin cover.
Yeah, but this is a dope cover that they're selling at cover price. So this is hands down.
Kind of mean.
This is a tough cover, man. That's cover of the week. That's my cover of the week.
Yeah, that's kind of mean. That's kind of mean.
Here's our boy
Nina
Barnes.
Yeah.
There's cover A, and we also have cover B.
Yep. Give me cover A. I don't need no demons in my life. Pop Star Assassin.
Pop Star Assassin. I don't know anything about this book whatsoever. I literally do not. But these covers have been fierce. I just got a thing for afros. I mean, I just love to see afros and guns, and it comes from having a childhood growing up on blaxploitation films.
Clearly. Yeah. Cleopatra Jones meets a big old 45.
Look at these covers. Just women with big afros and big guns. Tiger's Tongue is a I think this is from some African imprint, some artist. I can't remember the artist's name. Olivia Stephens. Artist is Dianchku Banton Perry. I can't even pronounce that. But Banton Perry. Banton Perry sounds Jamaican. I swear that's Jamaican. But there are two covers for that one as well. That's the second cover there. Walking Dead, X-Men, threw those in there because, it is what it is. So that's it. Those are books of the week.
Yeah, books of the week. So buy a few of those. Don't buy them all because you can't come live with us. Tamika always try to tell y'all. Don't spend your rent money. Please don't, because we can't help you. All we're gonna do is tell you. I ain't put a gun in your head. Say it might tell you to pay $500 for that. But that's comics though for you. That's comics. So we're going to go ahead and get into our last segment of the evening, which is Down the Rabbit Hole. And on tonight, I am going to vent my frustration. It's not going to be a rant, but I'm going to vent my frustration. I know. I need to talk to my therapist, man. What's going on? But anyway.
You're turning your lives into your therapist. All right, we'll listen. I'm going to charge you therapist rates, though.
Anyway, let me just say this. I'm nearly blacked out for a minute. So, the multiverse. I do not like the multiverse.
What?
I don't. I'm not one of these comic heads that gets all geeky behind 11 million different versions of one character. I just don't. I need see, Tamiko, let me get biblical. Let me get biblical for just a hot second.
I'm not an expert on the Bible, but I've never heard anything about the multiverse in the Bible. Go ahead.
Hold on. When Adam was in the garden,
yeah.
The good Lord our God, he said to Adam, he said, Adam,
I want you to go through that portal. It will take you to the multiverse.
No. He said, Adam, I want you to name all the animals. He gave him one job. One job. That's all he had to do.
Yeah.
Just name the animals. So, okay, he didn't say go through this portal. I need you to name these 11 other million animals. Over there, he had one job, one universe, one planet. That's it. Simple. End of discussion. Now we got 11 million verses. Do you know? I mean, listen, they have 300 million gods in Hinduism. Marvel literally has 1 million different universes. That's too many books to buy. That's too many covers to get. That's just too much, because guess what? You ever have a conversation with a fellow geek and you're talking about a character. Let's say Storm, for example. Okay, I'll just pick on Storm because we love Storm. She's the queen. Adari, she is who she is, right?
Region of Mars.
You're talking to somebody about Storm and then she's your favorite character or whatever, and Storm is so perfect and she's so sweet and she's so kind and all that. And then somebody said, well, Storm was a vampire. We can tell about my Storm and no vampire. But she's a storm. She's a vampire. But is it Bloodstorm?
Bloodstorm.
So yeah, Bloodstorm. So, and here's the thing about that. Okay, let's say I get an interest to want to look at Bloodstorm, right? All of a sudden, I try to go find Bloodstorm books. I can't find them. This universe exists, but I can't find them. So we got all of these imaginary characters, and we can't find. DC, I'm going to get back to you in a minute, Mark, but DC has 52 Earths. Okay? Every other year, they take like 3, 4, 5, 6 years and say, you know what? We need to shake everything up. We need to have another crisis event. Crisis on Infinite Earths. That's literally what it means. Now, they'll tell you that they got 52 Earths, but there are literally 11 million different iterations of these characters. Now, Paul, you have a daughter coming up, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, you want your daughter to not be confused. And so you tell her, okay, sweetie, if you want to read this particular book, this is where you go. But then she's having a conversation with somebody else and says, well, this character is this, that character doesn't just do this, that character do that. That character is black in this universe, that character is white in this universe. It's confusion. It's all confusion. I'm just looking for my yes to be yes and my no's to be no. But in comics, it's maybe. You know, I mean, think about it. There may be a universe where Storm is white.
Whew.
There actually was a comic
See,
book cover.
I hope not.
There actually was a comic book cover to Black Panther in which they had a white Storm on the cover. It is not a very popular cover.
I know it's
Um,
not.
that's all I'll say on that. I can show it to you,
And,
bro.
no, I don't want to see it. We don't need to see that. We don't need to see that. We don't need to see that. No. Storm is melanated. That's all. That's our Storm. But what I'm getting at though is all of these different iterations
Azor
of these.
Beast is calling you out right now.
I'm just saying, it's okay. Speak your mind. Speak your piece. You know, what's in that cup? Look, bro, this is water. This is all it is. It's water.
Now, if this had been Friday night and you're on the Wakanda whiskey and blurred them shows.
You want drunken chat, holler at your boy Paul at Wakanda whiskey on Friday night. So here's the thing. If I'm a comic, if I want to introduce someone to comics or whatever, right? Do I introduce them to the 616? And then as I introduce them to the 616, well, you know, but technically there are certain characters that we love that are not necessarily quote unquote in the 616.
Well, there's a difference. So I'm glad you brought up the DC versus Marvel because how they deal with the multiverse is different. And one would assume that because DC only has 52 universes, it makes things less complicated. It's actually the opposite. What Marvel does is they focus on the 616 universe. They will occasionally do storylines in which they'll go to another multiverse and then they'll go back to the 616 ultimately. And that's why the multiverse is so important to the MCU, because a lot of Marvel's characters in the 616 universe actually came from the multiverse, like Bishop or Rachel Gray.
Mm-hmm.
You know, these characters came out of the multiverse. Miles Morales is from the multiverse. He's from the 1610 universe, the Ultimate Universe. But they always come back to the 616 universe. Now DC's version is like we have 52 universes, so it's a lot smaller because Marvel's got infinite universes. DC only has 52. But the problem is that DC will do entire storylines for years in one of these multiverse storylines.
And that's a problem.
Well, look, this whole period from 1975 to 1982, that was this one universe, and we're done with that. And so you have a whole generation of comic book fans that would have read storylines from 75 to 82 and then be like, yeah, everything that you just read, yeah, we're throwing that out the door. We have an entirely new universe, and all those books you read are now trash.
Exactly. And that's my point, Paul. Do you know that in DC, on DC sides, now I'm going to say something to you, Paul, and this is what you're going to, I just want you to respond to me, okay? Earth M.
Yeah.
What is Earth M?
That's the Milestone universe in DC. Allegedly.
Right. But do you know that there is an M Earth as well?
No.
And that universe is aquatic life forms. So
yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah, exactly. It can become convoluted. Now, Brian, I think Brian just put up a comment and he said that this is how they're going to bring T'Challa back into existence through the multiverse. And see, I wanted to get that. Yeah, there it is. This is how they're going to be able to recast Black Panther T'Challa in the MCU. And I get that, but I mean, come on, guys. Really? I mean, isn't the 616 the place all the characters want to be in all the rest of these quote unquote universes, are like, you know, the NBA G League? I'm just saying. I mean, do we really pay attention to what's going on in the universe 1610? Do we really care?
It's about the 1610 universe is dope.
Yeah, well, that's the Ultimates, right? Ultimate Universe.
No, it's the MCU universe, because all your MCU characters are really based out of the 1610 universe.
Yeah. See, spoken like a Marvel head, But if I'm coming in trying to learn about comics, Paul, I don't know that language. You might as well be talking Chinese. It's like a kid comes to you and say, "I want Miles Morales." Okay, and you take him to a Miles Morales book or whatever, and then you want to say, "Well, I want to see a book with Miles Morales and say, I don't know, Wolverine or something." Well, they're in different universes.
Honestly, if Marvel really wanted to market to new readers, because now we've got this whole generation of people that grew up on the MCU, because the MCU has been going for what, 13 years now, 14 years now,
14 years.
So with that being said, that's a whole generation of people that know the MCU, and if they want to get into comics, I would literally tell them, go read the Ultimate Comics line, the 1610 universe, because that's where the origins of what they used, or the blueprint they used for the MCU, came from. And it's not tied to everything in the past. So if you want a very self-contained comic book universe, which has all these characters from the movies that you enjoy, without having all the history and having to worry about, well, this happened 50 years ago and you need to buy that issue that's now, $755, the Ultimate Universe is where you want to go.
Now, he says, one and one says, are Elseworlds considered multiverse?
Yes.
Elseworld, yes. Elseworld books, that universe is Earth 1163. So they have their own.
You just made that up.
Oh.
No, okay. No. That's actually from DC Universe Wiki page. Bruh.
1163?
1163. Earth 1163. That's what it is. Google it, my brother.
Nah, that's I'll take your word for it, bro.
Look.
My DC knowledge is very limited, as you know.
Google is your friend, Paul. Use it sometimes. Look, all I'm saying is, I think one of the reasons why Marvel and DC is getting its head handed to them by the independents and by manga, for example, is because the issues of continuity. You said something just a minute ago about if Marvel wanted to bring in new readers. Clearly, they're not interested in it. Because when you bring a kid in and he says, "Where do I start?" Even with Miles Morales, where do you start? Miles Morales is in like 4 or 5 different volumes of books, and they ain't none of them connected. I'm just saying.
Ultimate Fallout costs rent money to get.
Yeah. That's if you want to get the original one. You can always get the trade paperbacks. So trade paperbacks are for.
Or a facsimile.
You know what?
Or read it digitally.
You know what? They just said something. They invoke trade paperback and facsimile. If Herschel was here, he'd be turning over.
Those are dirty words.
That's a very foul words. But hey, I'm not opposed to trade paperbacks. But again, that's the only way we can introduce new readers to certain characters, whatever. Because you take a character, let's say, I don't know, Thor, right? Thor has a continuity that you can actually, look to and research and get to. But let's talk X-Men, for example. How many? Do y'all know they're getting ready to start the X-Men again?
Yes,
that's
not a bad thing. That's a good thing because they're going to start it correctly this time.
Well, the Krakoa wet dream is over. I'm sorry to refer to it that is, but that's kind of been what it is. They, think about it. Okay, we got this wonderful, beautiful land. We can fight and then die and come back. Great. But it's like, guys, what are you doing here? You need to wrap this up because we like our mutants fighting human beings or fighting the oppressive human, enemies and the Sentinels. We want that. We don't want them fighting with one another. We like them when they, kind of like Blade. I'm just saying. Blade is just. I got a wild hair for Blade today. I don't know what it is.
I like the X-Men. I like what Hickman did with the X-Men. The problem is that the present X-Men storylines aren't done by Hickman. Hickman's off the book. So what he created is like an.
But see, that's my question, Paul. Why did they take him off the book? Why did they take him off?
They didn't take him off. He left the book.
He left. Something went down that wasn't to his liking. I believe
he left. He didn't get fired or anything. They didn't go fire. He was head of X. He was head of the entire X-Men line. Mm-hmm. He revamped the entire line with Power of X and House of X, which is one of the best revolutions of of characters I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. I will say this about the multiverse thing that you talked about. Mm-hmm. With regard to how DC does these crises events and they reset the whole universe. Yeah. It is a great way, to your point about having a jump on points for new readers, because for me, I didn't really start hitting hard for DC until the New 52. I loved it. I know DC fans hate the New 52, longtime DC fans. I loved New 52. I thought that was one of the best reboots because DC was smart in that regard. The New 52 was in essence what they had a synergy between the comics and what they were doing in their animated line. And they realized people really were enjoying the DC animated films and that they were doing. And the Young Justice and Justice League Unlimited, that whole generation of people that like those cartoons that aren't familiar with the comic books. And so the New 52 was a great way of establishing that synergy. So they had that Justice League War cartoon, which was page for page, for the most part, what you had in the Justice League New 52 comic book. If you read one thing or you watched the other thing, you could enjoy and understand what was going on between the two. And they synergized what they had in the comics with what these movies that they were releasing at the time. Brilliant marketing.
And not only that's good, but that's what manga is doing, bro. That's what they're doing with that. That's the reason why that stuff is successful as it is. That's what they got all of that from DC.
Brian says, "Look at what they did with Aquaman." Mm-hmm. They made Aquaman cool. New 52 made Aquaman cool. I read Aquaman comics for the first time in like decades because Aquaman New 52 Aquaman was dope.
Yeah. I wanted to also clear up something too earlier. I had said that there was just one Elseworlds universe. Actually, there are several Elseworld universes. There's Earth 494. There is Earth 523. Now, on Earth 523, the superheroes are depowered. They have no powers. It's a universe where superheroes don't have no powers. Who wants that?
Isn't that the Dark Steel storyline going on right now? By Tom Taylor?
Possibly. Listen. There's a Steel Elseworld story where Steel is a slave.
It's just a medieval.
And I think it's one of the better Elseworld stories. I love Elseworld stories, but it is what it is. I just don't like the confusion that it can cause. If I meet a kid at a comic shop and he asks me where do I start, what do I tell him, Paul? What do I say to him? Because it's like, okay, if a kid is coming into a comic shop, he may not necessarily know what he likes until he reads it or until he sees it. Because right now, kids, they get their information from, movies and stuff. Like, for example, Titans. Did you guys watch or do you watch Titans?
I do. I like Titans.
I do. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, how much is Titans like the comic book?
Not much.
Not a bit at all.
Exactly. So if a kid is going to a comic shop and he wants to read Titans or Teen Titans or whatever it is called now, he's going to see something completely different. So it's like at some point, Marvel and DC need to make this. They have to have some synchronicity, if that makes any sense. Because again, now me as a guy who's been reading comic books for 40 years or so, I'm good with wait things up. But if I was a kid off the block, or I'm just trying to, get into comics and I don't know where to start, that kind of thing, I mean, it's better to give him a trade than be like, you know what, guy, read this. Well, my brother-in-law came with his family to my house, and my wife was like, I love my wife. She's so sweet. She says, "Oh, Uncle Richie loves comic books." I was like, "Yeah, you got some comic books? Yeah, yeah. Well, show him something. Give him some." Now,
give him some. My wife says the same. I'm not saying anything. I'm gonna get in trouble.
That's what she said.
That's why you have a pile to give away when people come to your house and go, "Oh, that's nice. Can they have one?" So, no, I have a pile specifically for that.
Yeah. So, but what I did was I gave him some Ultimate Spider-Man. I had a few volumes of Ultimate Spider-Man on my shelf. I gave him like 5 or 6, trades. And I felt pretty good about it, what I'm saying, because I wasn't gonna miss it. And 2, he was just happy to have it. But if he was to like ask me, I like this and where do I start? That's kind of hard, what I mean? Because it's some of this stuff, what I'm saying, it's like you want people to understand what they're reading. And sometimes
that's where Free Comic Book Day comes in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You gotta get the extra copies at Free Comic Book Day and just keep them stashed for those type of events, because those comics are geared towards new readers or having jumping on points, and it doesn't cost you anything. And pass them out to people that come to your house and say, "Look, you have so many comics, you're not gonna miss them. Just give me some of yours." Like those.
Well, Paul. I mean, sometimes though, I'm like small. You know what I mean? You come to my house, This is Lord of the Rings. This is Lord of the Rings talk. So Small was a dragon. You know what I'm saying? It's like, he laid up on a big old pot of gold. And it's like he missed one coin. Oh no. We can't have that. We can't have that. Bilbo Baggins. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna blow you up. I mean, I get it though. I mean, I think that we should have stuff that we can just kind of give away and that kind of thing. But it's still, even in me doing that or you guys doing that, it still to me doesn't solve the problem that Marvel and DC has, because I'm just curious. This Vampire Nation one shot. I'm just messing with Blade, man. I'm just trolling. Is that going to be a part of the 616, or is that just an elf?
No, it's definitely part of the 616.
So it's can't. So theoretically, it's
happening in Avengers.
Lord, Sheriff Blade, I'm losing my mind. Does he have a badge? What's on the badge? Is the badge silver?
Technically speaking, yes, he does have a badge.
Yeah, I'm just saying, But anyway, I mean,
and it's not like Herschel Walker's badge; it's like a real badge.
Now, Amir says, if a kid asks me for reading recommendations, I tell him Philadelphia. Well, I mean, I love Philadelphia, what I'm saying, but it depends. Philadelphia is a dope. We don't want to corrupt kids, Amir. We at Black Comic Lords do not believe in corrupting children. For those of you that are children or act like children, have at it. Have lots of fun. I mean, there are 50-year-old children. They're toddlers. Now, he says, how would the family feel about if Christopher Priest came back to Black Panther character? I'm just curious. Listen.
It depends on
Christopher Priest. Well, I will say this about Priest. I think that Priest's run is so legendary that I don't know if he would be motivated to come back to it.
Yeah.
Because this is what Priest did when he left the Black Panther. He literally left and went to Dynamite and felt compelled to write Vampirella. I mean, he had left Marvel and he was gone for a while. In fact, when he came back to Marvel, he wrote U.S. Agent. Does anybody remember U.S. Agent written by Christopher Priest? Exactly. Crickets. No one cared. No, it was a snooze fest. It is what it is. Now, people care that he's writing Black Adam, but I think that has more to do with The Rock playing Black Adam and them wanting to capitalize on the movie coming out. They wanted some star power, so they gave it to Christopher Priest. Because Priest has been writing books independently for a long time. If he wanted to write Black Panther, I think he would. I mean, I think it would be, I would say yes in a heartbeat, but I don't know if he would be motivated to do it because it's like people go back and forth over who has the better run, Christopher Priest or Ta-Nehisi Coates.
No, Reggie Hudlin.
Me personally,
Reggie Hudlin.
Oh, Reggie Hudlin. I'm sorry, Reggie Hudlin. I am Team Priest when it comes to that discussion. I love the things that Reginald Hudlin did with Black Panther. He brought Storm and Black Panther together. That brother will always get a 5 on the Black hand side for me on that regard. He did a lot.
Priest was actually the one who really first linked them together, though. Hudlin married them, but Priest is the one who first got them to get back.
Well, I mean, but that's the thing, though. He did it though. It's one thing. Yeah. Okay, that's my girlfriend. It's been your girlfriend forever. Priest, I mean, Hudlin was like, no, but y'all need to go on and get married. We need to really see this in a comic book. And so, shout out to him for doing that. Shout out to Eric Jerome Dickey for doing the limited series of Storm. Narrating the dictate, or not narrating, but documenting their love, the love story. But I would like to see Priest back on it, but I just don't think he would be motivated to do it. You know what I'm saying? Because Priest got away from Marvel because he didn't want to be the black writer at Marvel. He didn't want to be the black writer. He says, I heard there was a lot of hate for Christopher Priest in Marvel. Probably was. I mean, he Black Panther was I won't say it was an obscure book in Marvel, but he definitely elevated that character's profile. He definitely did that. If you go back and you read some of the older books at Marvel at the time when Marvel Knights was being done, Paul, the ads that they would put in those books, they spoke highly of the Black Panther book.
They did.
You know what I'm saying?
The advertisements for that run, I don't know if any of you are old enough to remember this or read those old advertisements, because I know a lot of people read trade paperbacks today, and trade paperbacks, although they're great for getting people to read the material, they lack a certain flavor because they don't have the ads in trade paperbacks. So you don't know a lot of stuff that happens between those pages. And the ads for that Marvel Knights run were cool because they would put things like, he is as smart as Reed Richards. He has more money than Tony Stark, and he's, he could beat Wolverine in a fight. I mean, it was like crazy stuff like that. They put in the ad, and you're like, who is he? It's like, it's the Black Panther. Christopher Priest, and this is not overstating it. Christopher Priest revolutionized the character and made the Black Panther cool. There's a reason why in that first page of his book, you see him looking like the character from Low Down Dirty Shame, with his bald head and his goatee and a nice suit, nice car, 2 beautiful statuesque women, the Dora Milaje, who Christopher Priest invented, by the way. He's the one who created the Dora Milaje. I mean, he made Black Panther cool. And used
definitely
Everett Ross' way of analysis as a literary device, which is brilliant.
Like I say, he listen, Christopher Priest, that was his signature book, but Priest has written other stuff too. I mean, Quantum and Woody by Christopher Priest and M.B. Bright, Deathlock.
Deathstroke.
Now listen, Quiet as It's Kept, that's probably one of the best DC villain comic books ever done. That run was amazing. So if you really want to read some dope Christopher Priest stuff, go get the Deathstroke stuff for sure. But he's done a lot of different stuff. I mean, Quantum and Woody is one of my favorite comic books to just read, and he did that first volume with M.D. Bright. That's a black writer and a black creative on a comic book with a
Yes,
black
sir.
superhero. So that's a little history for y'all. Go get that. Now, Amir asks, 1 in 100 podcast says, speaking of Hudlin, what do you think about the Static and Batman Beyond book? I think that's going to be dope.
I think it's gonna be very dope. Done by Nicholas Draper
Hudlin,
Ivy.
yeah. I mean, listen,
That's right up his alleyway.
that's what I'm saying. That's definitely in his bag, and so I think that's gonna be cool. That's gonna be cool. Who could hate on that?
Yeah, for those who don't know, that book is going to be a sort of future storyline in which future Virgil Hawkins, future Static, links up with Terry McGinnis from Batman Beyond. That future Virgil was first seen in, was it Justice League or was it Static Shock? It was from the cartoon.
Say Static Shock.
But the Static Shock. So
I mean, well, here's the thing. Here's the thing about that. Let me say this about Batman Beyond. Shout out to DC. You ask us what movie do we want. If you would have asked me what movie would I like to see, I love Batman. Batman's my guy. People know that. But I want to see a Batman Beyond movie.
Yeah, and we have the technology to do it now too.
Give me old grumpy Bruce Wayne, who's done
played by Michael Keaton. Played by Michael Keaton, who's now the right age to do it.
Yeah, give me that. Give me that, and bring in a new Batman, Terry McGinnis. Or if you really want to just upset the whole fan, just give us Jace Fox.
Hey.
As was just the reference that you guys may not be getting, in the latest issue of Future State Gotham, Batman hands over Bruce Wayne, hands over the mantle of Batman in Future State to Jace Fox. In essence, making him the Batman of the future. So that would be an interesting storyline.
I mean, we about to get Black Falcon or Captain. I'm sorry. That was a Freudian slip. Captain America, New World Order.
Marvel is actively trying to downplay the Captain Falcon thing.
I'm gonna call him Black Falcon, but that's just me. I might go to the Captain I might Falcon. I might go to the
Captain Black Falcon.
Movie, I might go to the opening night of the movie. Black Falcon. Save Black Falcon. Hashtag save Black Falcon.
Let's not.
This is so I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't mean. But I mean, going back to our topic though. I mean, Tamiko, you hadn't really said much about it. I mean, how do you feel about all the multiverse and stuff? Does that not get on your nerve at times? I mean, or do you think all the more the better?
No, it definitely gets on my nerves because I'm reading Dark Crisis right now, and I'm like more of a DC type of gal in the beginning because Marvel X-Men was pretty much the only thing I bothered with Marvel for a time, but DC had all the characters that I kind of like, but then they had Crisis on an Infinite Earths and it killed Supergirl and all this other good stuff, and I was like, oh, that's kind of dope. So now you got to go forward. But then they undid that. The New 52. I actually like the New 52.
I love the New 52.
It gave a spotlight to a whole lot of other characters.
Yeah.
I think the cop Christmas Allen, he became the Spectre. Yeah. And Renee Montoya became the Question. And it's Vixen was a little bit more forward in that when she had
Vixen became a leader.
Yeah, of the Justice League. But anyway, I thought it was great. And then they decide to undo all of that. And I'm sitting there going, I have all of these 52 comics that are now trash because now you moved into something else. And then now we're in the Dark Crisis. And I'm so annoyed. The story is good. I'm still annoyed because I was like, well, why don't you change the status quo and just move forward? And also the beginning of Dark Crisis is what made me angriest because they're sitting there killing the Justice League.
You know, one of the things you mentioned was the Justice Society, and we have this new movie coming out this week, Black Adam. And I don't think enough is being said over the fact that Dwayne Johnson, with this movie that he's been trying to make for 15 years, been pushing DC to make for 15 years, has quietly made a majority BIPOC, I think is a term that's popular these days, film, superhero film, where the majority of the team are people of color. I mean, he's not out and out saying it because that's not his style, but that's what he's done. And he makes references like, I'm changing the whole paradigm of the DC universe. And there's another article that came out saying what he would like for the next film, in which they bring in Mr. Terrific and Hawkgirl.
Yes.
And if they do a Hawkgirl that's the Kendra Sunderland one, that is kind of racially ambiguous. I'm still debating whether she's black. I'm gonna say she's black because that's how they made her in the DC on the CW show. So that's two more black. What if they decide to do Vixen? Can you imagine that?
I forgive him for every bad thing I've ever said.
Oh my God! But
well, see, that's the thing, though, Paul.
A superhero whose power is that he is the most intelligent man in the world. Black,
just like you're fantasizing about the what if. Here's the problem: they'll do that, and then they'll do what they just did with the Justice League. They'll kill them off. Listen, for those of you out there that love black men, or not say black men, who love Batman, Bruce Wayne, white Batman. For those of you that love Clark Kent, white Clark Kent, okay? For those of you who love Diana Prince, okay? Yes, they're dead, but DC is going to bring them back. So don't get caught up in Nubia being there. Don't get caught up in Jace being there. Don't get caught up in, all these characters. It's beautiful to have it. I love it, Paul. But it's only going to be there for a minute. We know white history. I'm just saying.
Well,
so
what makes this film interesting is they're not going out of their way to do the same holy trinity of DC characters. They're stepping away from the Justice League because by doing the Justice Society, it opens up an entire different door to other characters that aren't really well known or well used. Right. You want to switch them around a little bit. He has the freedom to do that.
That's the point. He doesn't listen, there's a reason why The Rock decided to do Black Adam. Come on, you mean to tell me that The Rock was thumbing through his comic books one day and said to himself, I want to be that character?
That's what he said. That's what he said in the interview. He's like, I see a guy who's brown like me.
Well, now, he had hair though. Rock.
Yes, but they've changed that because they need to make the character look like The Rock.
I mean, say that now. Stop. If that's the truth and he said that, okay, that's fine. However, the Black Adam is not racially ambiguous. Black Adam is a white man. Now,
well,
hold on, don't. We're not going down that rabbit hole, Paul. I get what you're getting ready to say. I know Ken Dot, and he's in the region of commit. I get all of that, but I'm talking about the people that created Black Adam in 1940, whatever it was, 38 or whatever year it came out.
The fact that he is created in 1938 makes all of those arguments absolutely moot. I mean, they weren't even allowed to make major characters black back then. That's like saying, we can't. It's just, I don't know.
Okay, And see, here's the thing too. Dr. Fate's gonna be white. Dr. Fate's always been black. I mean, has always been a quote unquote white character.
Would we know who Dr. Fate or Black Adam was if the artists back then decided to make them what they truly should have been, which is a person of color? Would we know about them to this day?
Probably not.
No, because it
never
never would have made it past one issue.
Should Shazam be black as well? I say to that, Austin, I say no, because he's based on Greek gods and Greek folks. Yeah, Greek folks are part of the tribe of mayonnaise. So, Black Adam, his genealogy or his pantheon of gods are Egyptian. So that's the difference. But to me, it's one of those things where I think
I agree with Azell Ray.
What does he say? In the comics,
in the comics, Black Adam is white, but it just never made sense. It never made sense.
No.
Black Adam is as white never made any sense.
Listen, the dude's name is Black Adam. How many of y'all know? I know a Black Sam.
Right. Frustrated Fans Sports says, remember when these characters were created at a time when racism was law? That's my point. Like, I don't think we should get all twisted up about changing characters which weren't allowed to be black back in the day. They weren't allowed to.
Well,
we would not know about them to this day if the artist originally made them black.
I tell you what, Paul,
they would have gotten all Negro comics treatment.
I hope that the movie's good. That's all I hope for. I hope that the Rock's bad acting does not overshadow.
The Rock is not a bad actor. The Rock is the Rock.
Yeah.
Listen.
Don't blaspheme my classmate.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is a great guy, but no one's going to mistake him for Denzel Washington.
Oh my gosh.
I don't see an Oscar in The Rock's future. Now, I loved him when he was a football player and he meets his daughter for the very first time. What's the name of the movie? The Game Plan. I liked him when he was the Tooth Fairy, when he played the big hockey guy. I even liked him with Kevin.
His family films.
I like his yes, that's what I like. But he don't fool me in this big tough guy and I know you, bruh. I know you.
You didn't like him. You didn't like him as a Scorpion King.
The Scorpion King is probably my favorite Rock movie, to be honest.
Now, what's the difference between Scorpion King and him playing Black Adam? I'll wait.
The difference? Well, it seemed like he had hair, Paul.
Right. If you wanted to see how Black Adam looked with Dwayne Johnson playing him with hair, you need to go no further than look at the Scorpion King, which he's playing a character from relatively the same region of the world from the same time period.
Okay. Well, like I said,
and the same bad attitude.
I hope I hope it's a good movie. I really do. I want the movie to be dope. I really do. I don't want it to be trash.
I don't think it will be trash.
Frustrated Fan Sports says, don't talk about guys from the U. Thank you very much. This is what we talk about. This my man from the U.
Guys from the U. Okay. All right. Oh, okay. How's that football team going this year?
We won this week for a change.
But I don't think it's the Black Adam movie is going to be trash, because I think they're going to give him the treatment that they gave Jason Momoa in Aquaman. Don't say too much, just stand there, look pretty, knock people out. So I think if they keep it in that realm, it should be fly. It should be fire. It should be fly.
Amir says The Rock was the man in Ballers. That's right. Ballers was dope. That was a dope show. Dope show. Yeah, right. And that was not an action film. Thank you very much. That was a dramatic show in which he acted, and he was good. And he gave much love to the U in every episode.
Okay,
Tide. Roll Tide. How y'all doing this week though? Oops.
Ooh.
Boy, I bet you it's not a. I bet you it's not a. It's probably not a sober Tennessean in the whole state right now.
I say Rocket Top, Tennessee.
Shout out to
They probably still
Tennessee.
drunk
Y'all
today.
did y'all thing. It's like they won the Super Bowl, but that happens when you beat Alabama. It is what it is. But anyway, that's enough of football talk. So guys, we're getting ready to wrap this thing up. Any final thoughts?
Derek
Subject
says,
matter comments
before
I
you
want to talk
end the
about.
show, Rich mentioned Atlanta. What is your favorite episode so far this season?
Okay, Atlanta. Well, okay. First of all, I will say that the episode that came out this week, oh my God. I mean, it was funny. It was funny.
I don't know
Those
if
of you
I'm up to
that
date.
watch Atlanta, those of you that watch Atlanta know that Atlanta is a very surreal comedy, dark comedy show.
It's drama.
And yeah, dramedy. And I gotta say, as far as this year of this season, my favorite.
That's a tough one, man. There have been so many fire
Real,
episodes.
all of them have been dope. Now I do know that last week, the talking about Cat Williams in the Gator was that's like last season, third season, I think it was, or the second season. But Cat Williams was in the episode this year or this season. That was a pretty good episode when his father went to the mall while he took his family to church. That was a real good episode. I mean, that was hilarious. But
what was the episode they had with the kids in the high school?
Yeah. I like the one that was last week with the spoof on Tyler Perry. That was funny. That was real.
Yes. It sure was. I cackled all the way through.
They told Tyler Perry a new one. That was just I felt bad. When he turned around and he had that beret on his head, and it seemed like they darkened his skin. I was just no good. I was like, man, this is just cold. But I've enjoyed the whole season of Atlanta. This last episode was very, very funny, but it was also serious. One of the topics they talked about was, the things that young black kids and young black men do for tennis shoes. And I thought that was very, very hilarious in that, the guy says, they meet, he wants to get a rare sneaker. And so he says, well, I know a guy, he's the shoe guy. So they go to this dirty van, some guy in a dirty van or whatever.
Don't get the spoilers, man.
Don't okay. I won't give it. But I will say this, that the things that some people do, some people have no shame. I just say it like but yeah, I've enjoyed Atlanta this year. This is going to be the last season, so it's gonna be sad day, man, when they end it. But it's been fun. It's look, it is just good to be a nerd all the way around. Paul, I was talking earlier about the Rings of Power, and I was not impressed with the season finale. It didn't get good like episode 6, and so they kind of limped to the finish line. But I'm just glad that we have House of Dragon because that's the show.
Yeah,
peak TV.
So
Team Black.
Yes, the Valerians. Now I'm curious to see what's going to happen with them because they don't, when the Game of Thrones movie or series starts, they're no longer around. And so
that's foreshadowing.
Yeah, that's interesting to see how that is going to line up. But yeah, George, what's his name? George Martin, George R. Martin. He said that he thinks that Game of Thrones is, Rings, not that the House of Dragon needs at least, the House of Dragon needs at least 4 seasons to really do it justice. And so yeah, I mean this season has been great. I think we got one more, I want to say, and that'll be done. Man, what we gonna do after that, bro? What ain't no other shows? Tragic. So
I don't know, man.
Might have to dip back into Disney Plus for the Marvel series.
What's the next Disney Plus Marvel series?
I believe Secret Wars?
Secret Invasion. Secret Invasion.
Oh, is that a television show or is that going to be a movie?
No, that's
Armor Wars. Armor Wars is going to be a movie now instead of the TV series.
But Secret Invasion is going to be a television show?
Yeah, Secret Invasion.
Secret Invasion.
That's going to be live.
And move into the movies. And the Guardians Christmas special coming up. Yeah.
Yep. Did you guys see?
The fans is like me. It's like the power shows, man. I just watch all my power shows. Just keep them coming.
I haven't even watched Werewolf by Night yet. Have y'all guys seen it yet?
Yes.
Oh my God, that was good.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna check it out.
I only had one criticism, which is that the werewolf is Jack Russell and it's not the new Latino character, because they got a Latino actor to play Jack Russell, and I assumed based on the actor they chose, they're going with the newer Latino version of the werewolf.
I think they'll segue into that. They at least have to bring a beginning. So I think they're going to move into the younger, newer werewolf.
I feel bad for all the spec guys that bought that volume 2 of Werewolf by Night.
Well, you know what, Paul? All you got to do is go to the multiverse, and you will get your Latino character in the multiverse. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna get out of here. It's your boy Rich. We've had a good time tonight. We talked a little comic books. We talked a little bit about
Azure. You're right. Yeah, I think he's Native American. I said Latino. I think he's Native American.
Native, yeah.
Yeah, he's Native American.
Well, you know what, Paul? You have to worry about it because there's like 11 million. There's a Mexican one. There's a Latino one. There might be even an Irish wolf by now. We don't know. The multiverse is so big.
If they can make Secret Invasion like how they made Captain America Winter Soldier, where it's more of a spy espionage show, then yeah, that's gonna be dope. That's gonna be dope.
What it looks like it's gonna be. I mean, your boy Samuel L. Jackson is he's heading it up. So Sam don't do no whack stuff. You know what I'm saying? If it's Marvel, Sam has done some whack movies, but this Marvel resume is pretty solid. So.
Nick Fury is it.
I want to see the sinister side of the Skrulls.
Well, good luck with that.
The original Skrulls comic book was just a mind job, man. I mean, you didn't know who was a Skrull and who wasn't. It just messed it. The storylines were awesome.
Well, it's not going to be. I'll say this: it's not going to be rated R. I'll say it's going to be PG-13, and you'll be okay. You and all these other fanboys, y'all gonna be all right. She-Hulk proved that. When they had the She-Hulk season finale, we all saw it, Tamiko, and we woke up the next day.
I watched it twice.
We're gonna be fine. We'll be all right, because it's the multiverse where anything can happen. We just make up some stuff. That's the multiverse. See, right now there's an OG Rich in another multiverse. He's probably a white dude, with long flowing hair. He's probably got a mullet, He's probably got a mullet talking about black folks, you know what I'm saying? No. Now I call the white people mayonnaise. He probably calls us barbecue. The barbecue. We get too much of the barbecue. I don't know why the barbecue is always mad. What you got to be mad about? Huh? And this stream is clearly gone off the rails, so we're going to get out of here. Until next week,
I need to go watch House of Dragon.
Yeah.
It's your boy Rich. Got the Queen Tamika with me, the OG and the original Don Dada Paul. Until next time, we'll see you. Come back, check us out. Go by our website, blackcomiclords.net. Check out our merch. Check out our books, all the things that we got there.
Hey, and if you haven't done so already, please go ahead and like the video. Hit the like button right now.
Subscribe.
And subscribe if you're not already subscribed to the channel, so you can know when we're doing the show again. Helps our algorithm. It helps us keep this thing going, and it costs you nothing.
You know you want to.
Of course you do, because in the multiverse, they don't have this. They don't have computers. Everything's the same. Shout out to Sheriff Blake, and you know, Vampire Undead Lives Matter. You know, Black people lives matter. All lives matter. Ask Kanye, y'all.
Get us
we
out.
gotta go. Good night, y'all. Peace.